Okay, it's Mr. Miedema again. I'm actually taking a look at X.5, exponential growth and decay, the word problems. So I already made a video for this. I just think that this is kind of a difficult topic. So I wanted to make another video in case you didn't quite get it, and just kind of have some more examples to take a look at. So for this one, it says a growing farming conglomerate increases its water usage at a rate of 10% every year. If it used 48,000 megaliters of water this year, then how much water will it use 18 years from now? Okay, so when you read these problems, you want to think, is this exponential growth or exponential decay? And it says a farming conglomerate increases its water usage. If you increase your water usage, then that's exponential growth. So I want to use the formula for exponential growth. The formula for exponential growth is y equals a times 1 plus r all raised to the x. And again, in my first video, we talked about how y is the total, a is the starting amount, r is the rate written as a decimal, and x is some kind of time interval. So as we read this problem, it says the water usage increases at 10% every year. Well, in order to write 10% as a decimal, you divide by 100. 10 divided by 100 gives you 0.1. So in the formula for r, you have to use 0.1. So I'm just going to make a little cheat sheet here and say I know that r is 0.1. If it used 48,000 megaliters of water this year, well, that's the amount of water it's using this year, which means the start. So A equals 48,000. Then how much water will it use 18 years from now? Well, X represents your time interval, which is going to be 18. The question says, how much water will it use 18 years from now? We're trying to find out the total amount of water that will be used. So we don't know what y is. So that's what we're solving for. So I'm going to keep y in my equation because that's what we're solving for. A is 48,000. 1 plus r, which is 0.1, all raised to the x, which is 18. Now, everything on the right-hand side is just numbers, which means that you can use a calculator. However, usually I like to kind of show this one step of simplifying what's in the parentheses. 1 plus 0.1 is 1.1 raised to the 18th. And now I'll go ahead and enter it in exactly how I see it in my calculator. 48,000 parentheses 1.1 close parentheses raised to the 18th. I get 266,876.031. It says, if necessary, round your answer to the nearest hundredth. So this here is the hundredths place. The 1 is going to tell the 3 to stay the same. So my answer is 266,876.03. That's rounded to the nearest hundredth. Okay, let's take a look at another problem. Joy's health and fitness blog is really taking off. The blog had 24,000 commenters this month. and the number of commenters has consistently gone up by 10% per month. How many commenters can Joy expect to have in 8 months? So once again, first determine whether this is exponential growth or exponential decay. The number of commenters has consistently gone up by 10%, meaning that this is exponential growth. So y equals a times 1 plus r to the x. Now, it's gone up by 10% per month. But remember that in this formula, r has to be written as a decimal. In order to change a percentage to a decimal, you take the percentage and divide by 100. 10 divided by 100 is 0.1. So we know that r is 0.1. Now the blog had 24,000 commenters this month. Well, that's the starting value, the starting number, 24,000. How many commenters, so we don't know the total, can Joy expect to have in 8 months? X is always some kind of time interval, in this case months. And again, we don't know what the total is. That's what we're solving for. So we have y, which is what we're solving for, equals 24,000, 1 plus 0.1 raised to the 8th power. Okay, once again, this is all numbers. You can enter it carefully in your calculator. I tend to show this extra step of simplifying what's in the parentheses, and then I go ahead and solve. So using my calculator, 24,000, parentheses, 1.1, all raised to the 8th power. Now it says if necessary, round your answer to the nearest whole number. I get 51,446.13144 is what my calculator tells me. To the nearest whole number, well, if I go, the 1 tells the 6 to stay the same. So my answer is 51,446. 51,446. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Camille deposited $40 in a savings account earning 10% interest, compounded annually. To the nearest cent, how much will she have in 2 years? Just so you know, the nearest cent is another way of saying the nearest hundredth. Okay. When you put your money in a bank and you earn interest, the amount of money in your account goes up. This is growth. So once again, that formula is y equals a times 1 plus r raised to the x. Okay, it says that we're earning 10% interest. Again, to change a percentage to a decimal, you divide by 100. So we get that r equals 0.1. She deposited $40. Well, that's how much she initially put into her account. That's the starting value. And then x is 2. It's the number of years. We don't know how much will she have in her account. We don't know the total. So y equals 40, 1 plus r, which is 0.1, raised to the 2nd power. Again, I'm going to show that intermediate step, simplifying what's in my, simplifying what's in my parentheses here. 1 plus 0.1 is 1.1 raised to the 2nd. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my calculator. 40 parentheses 1.1 raised to the second power. I get 48.4. Be careful here on these compound interest problems. Sometimes it'll say how much money is in the account. Well, that would be $48.40. Other times they may say how much money was earned. Well, if the person put in $40 and they now have $48.40, you have to subtract those two values to find out that $8.40 was earned. But this question says to the nearest cent, how much will she have? So she will have $48.40. $48.40. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and jump a level here to see if the problems get any harder. But this problem is one that you should be able to do based on the previous three problems. Okay, once again, this is a problem that you should be able to do. It has a private high school, charges $59,870 for tuition. Well, that's the starting amount, or A. This figure is expected to rise 10% per year. Well, that's going to help you find R, which is going to be 0.1. What will tuition be in 8 years? They give you X as 8, and you're solving for Y. I'm going to go ahead and jump a level to see if they get any harder. Okay, this seems to be the same question. Okay, this one changed slightly just because it has 2% per year. So I'll go ahead and do this one with you to just try to get a different value for R. So a private high school charges $59,866 for tuition. This figure is expected to rise 2% per year. What will tuition be in 8 years? So again, tuition is rising, it's going up. So that's exponential growth. So Y equals A times 1 plus R raised to the X. Well, the tuition that was charged, that's your starting value. So your starting value here is $59,866. Okay, tuition is rising 2%. But again, you have to write that percentage as a decimal. So to write 2% as a decimal, you divide 2 divided by 100. 2 divided by 100 is 0.02. So R is 0.02. What will tuition be in 8 years? Again, X is some kind of time interval, and we don't know what tuition will be. So that's what we're solving for. Okay, so we're solving for Y. My starting value is 59,866 times 1 plus 0.02, all raised to the 8th power. Again, I'm going to go ahead and simplify what's in those parentheses. So 59,866, 1 plus 0.02, it's 1.02, all raised to the 8th power. And now I could carefully enter this into my calculator. 59,866 times 1.02, all raised to the 8th power. And I get 70,142.5605. Okay, it says round your answer to the nearest cent. So here's to the nearest cent. The 0 tells the 6 to stay the same. So my final answer here is 70,142.56. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop. Again, this is the second video. This is just additional practice problems if you need the help. I know this is a new topic, so I just wanted to make sure I gave you as many examples that I could. Okay, good luck.